Greetings and welcome to Let's Keep It Real, where it's real talk, real life, no filters, no topics off the table. Today, I am going to be talking about the struggles of dating as a full time nomad. If you know, you know. uh, I've been on the road for over 7+ years, and dating is already complicated. Now you add the extra layer of conversation of where do you actually live? You do this full time? And that makes for a fun dating experience. So today I'm going to dive deep into what dating has looked like for me over the last 7 years, almost 7 years, and go over my dating profiles. So that should be fun. What dating apps I prefer to use. Um, my personal dating preferences, and what I'm attracted to, and my deal breakers and things like that. And then, the extra added layers of being bi, being a femme for attracted to femme, being polyamorous. Um, yeah, it's all fun stuff. So let's get into it. All right, so let's get into it. Where do we start? Let's start year one of RV life. So my first year of RV life, I was wrapping up a job in St. Pete. This light is really bright. I'm gonna turn this down. It's like right in my freaking eyeballs. I need to turn it down. I don't think it need to be that bright. There we go. And at that time, I was online dating as usual, and I would go out on a few different dates and stuff, and I would tell them what I'm about to get ready to do, and they're like, "Oh, that sounds really cool," but it's like not about it. Then I was also like coming into myself as the queen, and that cockiness of self awareness definitely um, deterred some conversations, just in general. I know for sure. I'm wondering if I put this on my lap. I don't want to start moving stuff now. Production, but I'm like hunched over a little bit. But I can bring this up to me, but then I have to hold it, and I don't want to move it around too much. I'm gonna use my phone for notes because I want to stay on track for today's podcast. But yeah, so back to the topic, which is year one. So I get my RV, and I decided that my first job was gonna be driving box trucks for my ex. Actually, I say my friend for context because he was my friend at the time. Like we didn't we weren't in that ex phase anymore, but we are ex partners, ex fiancés, whatever. Um, and he'll probably come back in conversation later on that references like poly and why I don't really fuck with dudes like that anymore. But anyway, so I ended up going up to Atlanta, and when I was in Atlanta, I was swiping. Like Atlanta was very familiar for me when it came to familiar and exciting for me when it came to the dating culture there because that's where I came out as bi, and it really explored myself as bi and as polyamorous and all of that. Like that's where that happened in Atlanta. So I was excited to go back there because I wasn't having no luck in Florida. I had been in Florida for 2 years, and I wasn't having really no luck with um, Floridian dating. And so I was swiping there. At this point in time, I've been trying to manifest a female partner for context. I'm bi, but I'm gay leaning. And um, if I am in a polyamorous relationship that is a female and male trio, which is my preferred preference of polyamory dynamic, um, like I would prefer to attract a female partner first, and then a dude. I don't want to be in a relationship with a dude by myself anytime soon. At least that's my preference. Anyways, skipping back. So on my dating apps, which we'll go into later, um, I have it set to women most of the time. Every once in a while, I have it on everyone, like to see guys and girls. Most of the time, it's set to females and or women, woman. I'm just kidding. And I was swiping, and I swiped. I can't remember which dating app this was. To be honest, I can't remember at all. If it was Tinder or Bumble or I don't know, but there was um an early, and this is I'm like having to dig this out of my brain. There was an early situationship with somebody who I will not name because they have I'm just not gonna name, but I'm gonna give them a name. Let's see, what will their name be in my story? Let's not do that because that will make it confusing for me. Um, but this person is full blood Puerto Rican. I like to say vanilla Latina because I don't like to call them white. They don't like to be called white either. So they like to be called Puerto Rican, even though that's not a race, even though race is not a thing. Anyways, so I call them vanilla Latina. Um, but yes, she was Puerto Rican. Um, and we had a little situation shipish for a little bit um, at the beginning of that. So when I met her, she knew that I was a nomad. She thought it was pretty cool. She met me in my RV. That was how we first met. Like we met in a parking lot of like Staples or something in Atlanta, and um, we hung out, we smoked, and then we made plans to meet up um, at my RV. She spent the night at my RV with her dog. She had a dog at the time, and I was in a parking lot. Like I don't think I was plugged in at an RV park when when I met up with her. I was plugged in at at my ex's apartment complex in the hood. Yo, it was so funny, yo. Like I was plugged in for like almost a week before they came and said anything. And but yeah, she like came and hung out. Like she was totally okay with the fact that I was doing that. She had a super busy schedule. Um and yeah, and then eventually I went to her house once we figured out how to get the RV, where to park it and stuff, and I was happy to be in town. But this was later on. She met me in my first RV, and then she met me in my first RV. Did she see the purple one? No, maybe. No. I don't remember. No. Wait. No, that was the box truck that I brought down there. Okay, I was like, what? How did I break? Because I went down her street one time and I accidentally, there was a really low hanging electrical wire and I was backing the box truck down and it popped the wire. But that was in the box truck. That wasn't in my RV. I never brought my RV down there. I parked it in a parking lot not too far away. So yeah, she never saw the purple RV. Okay, I was just tracking my brain. Anyways, so um, we hooked up a couple times. When I say hook up, we had sex a few times. During that situationship, she ended up being also like my uh mail in connect. She would send me like edibles and vape pens through the mail. Uh, and that was cool. Um, and yeah, then after her, I had a very weak moment with my ex. I don't even want to go into that because that doesn't even count as dating. That's just counts as sex accidentally. That I did regret it. Um, and then let's see. After that, more swiping, and I'm like trying to think of the next connection after that. Like think somebody who I talked to. So after that, I there was no connections after that. So after that, I went to Florida, and then I got to Florida, and I was in Crystal River. That's what the name of that place is called, Crystal River. And nobody there, and then I was hanging out there, and then I went to Maryland. And when I got to Maryland, and I was there for the summer into fall, and that's when I switched over to the Purple Palace. So this was going on year two of RV life. Um, I was in Maryland, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be here, and I'm having a hot girl summer. That was when that phrase was real hot. Girl summer. Like I'm having a hot girl summer, okay? Um, and I swiped on this guy. I swiped on a couple guys. This is when I was like, you know what? I'm gonna entertain guys again. Um, I wasn't having luck with the girl connection thing, and I was just like, let me open it up to guys. So, um, I want to say the there was three. Like okay, one, two, three. Yeah, there was three main dates that I went on that were notable during that time. Um, and it was all different types of guys. And I experiment with people that were my type and people that were very much overly my type, but a toxic type, like that I shouldn't even fuck with. I don't know why it's still my type, kind of type. Like that persona or that profile of person or that avatar of person does not match the persona of what I'm looking for. So yeah, so there was three main guys. One, it was this light skin, which I'm not into light skin tones. He was about the same height as me, which I didn't know initially. I think he padded or hid his height on his little thing. Anyways, um, he had the reason why I swiped on him is because he had those Michael Ealy eyes. If you know what I'm talking about, like he was like that light skinned dude with the Michael Ealy eyes. Like the light blue or light green or just light eyes. I can't remember exactly what color, but he had like light eyes. And he wore glasses. And I was like, he looks kind of interesting. Let's see what he's talking about. Like he fit the mold of like, things that I was looking for at that time. Um and so I was like, okay. I went on a date with him and we met up at like this like I think we met up at this like hookah lounge, and we got hookah, and we sat and we chatted and we had a good time. And he taught me how to play dominoes. I think, because I didn't know, and they had dominoes, like they had games there, and I'd never played dominoes. So he sat and he taught me a little bit of dominoes, and I was down for that. And so I'm always down for a board game. And um, we had an interesting conversation. Um, and then we were supposed to. I think we were supposed to meet again. No, we did meet again. We did meet again. I'm trying to bring everything up to the Rolodex of like what what went wrong there. I think it was just there was something that happened and then there was just like no community. Oh yeah. We were supposed to meet again and I was trying to confirm with him, but we get to the spot. He fell asleep or something. And I get all the way to where we're supposed to meet and I hear nothing. I thought he was on the way or whatever. I wasn't that far away. I tried to confirm. I just knew we was gonna meet up, and it was. I got all the way there basically, and never heard from him. So I went home, and so I stopped talking to that person. They had an explanation later on that just didn't make sense to me. I'm just like, we are grown. What is going on? I mean, I was in my mid 30s, but I was just like, I don't understand this. Like, how do grown people like make plans and they're not responsible? Are we just really not that responsible out here? That's wow. So skip to the next guy. Um, this person's name was. I'm actually gonna say this person's name because his name was King. And I love that because I was, owning the whole queen thing at the time. And I was like, king and queen. And what intrigued me about this person is because, like, when we swiped, like, in his profile, it said, like, let's go on a hike and smoke or something. It was something about smoking and going on a hike. And I'm like, I love that kind of first date. Um, so I hit him up and I was like, I'm totally down for that date. And that was our first date. We went on a hike, a very popular, um, well popular and also well tracked. Like there's a lot of people out on the trail, even though it's a nature trail. Um, and I rolled up, he brought a pen, and we smoked. And we just like talked and went on a hike. That was like the coolest one of the coolest dates I've been on with a guy where it was like no pressure, no money involved. Like we had a good time. We were able to get to know each other. We were out in nature. Like I like that. That was cool to me. Some people be freaked out about that, but I think that's like one of the coolest things. And we were smoking and everything. That's like my whole thing. So this dude, so the first dude we didn't make any. There was no intimate contact. Hug. That was it. I don't even remember if we kissed or not. Like, um, but there was like no intimate contact. This dude, um, we did that date, and then um, later we met up another day to go out. I can't remember where we went. We went to some restaurant, I think. Yeah, and then when I was coming home, um, or before we left, like we made out in the parking lot, and it was like really, really, it was really, really like nice, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give this dude some. Like I could feel on his body that he had one of those like football athletic bodies that I like. Uh, he is taller than me. That's what I like about dudes. Like when I can kind of look up, I'm very submissive when it comes to dudes, but when it comes to girls, like I'm the dom. But anyway, so and I was feeling myself too. Like my body was looking nice. Um, I was feeling myself. Like I was like, I am in my mid 30s, and I am looking fabulous. My body's looking tight and right. Like I'm about to have a hot girl summer. Stella's about to get her groove back. And I did, but skip to. I'm trying to think. How did this come about? I just remember there was an arrangement for me to go over his house, and I just knew that that was gonna be like sexy time. We went over there. We smoked. I think we watched like some TV, some Netflix or something. Um, and long story short, we had really, really good sex. Like I really enjoyed it. It had been a really long time since I had sex with a different dude outside of my ex, and just sex with a dude in general. Well, at the begin, I mean, we're talking about RV life, but I'm not talking about how long I've been single. I've been single for almost a decade or a decade. It's been 10 years. Yeah, no, it's been over 10 years. Oh gosh. I don't like counting. Um, at the beginning of my singlehood, I definitely had a whole hoe phase for sure. I had a sugar daddy phase, a hoe phase, all the phases. I had a still hooking up my with my ex phase. Like it was a whole toxic phase. I was in my early 30s. I was going through my Saturn return. Like there was a lot going on, which is why I up and left Atlanta and went to Houston, and then from Houston to Florida. And yeah, but it came full circle back to Atlanta after that, and then full circle back to Maryland, which is where I always felt the most insecure because I never got any play when I used to live in Maryland. Like I was always the girl that was like I was cute, but I wasn't cute enough for the white boys and not the white boys to like holler at me. They were all my homeboys and shit, but none of them hollered at me. They hollered at some girls, and my sister like it was clear that she liked white boys. So I guess they just I don't know. I don't know how that works to be honest. Um, but and then the black guys, I don't know. They always played hard to get. Like I never felt secure there. It wasn't until I left Maryland where I felt like I was like a catch. You know what I'm saying? Like when I got to the South and all the boys came to the yard and I was like, hey, just showed off. You know what I'm saying? You girl. You know what I'm saying? She got some clout over here. So like being back in Maryland was like full circle, like feeling myself and being able to catch dudes. And so I want to say I had sex with that dude 2 times. It was like a nighttime one, and then I went home, and then I came back for day sex one time, and then I went, and then after that, it got real weird. Like he just like started acting real weird and narcissistic, and I was just like, uh, I. But also at that time, I realized that I had some issue with dating. Like I was either doing too much, telling too much. I'm a long talker, as you can see with my podcast and shit. I haven't even scratched the surface of the podcast, and we're already 22 minutes in. But I ended up reading or listening through audio book, a book that came out from Shan Boudreaux, which is damn it, what was the name of that book? It was oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to look it up real quick. Hold on. Shan Boudreaux. It's like the love. Basically, it was a book about like self empowering women so they could feel worthy and in dating, um, and that they don't. Uh, they're aware of who they are and what they want. Like it was very much that vibe. I'm trying to think. Her book. book so I can give you the right names. The Game of Desire. That's what it's called. The Game of Desire empowers you to take the lead and learn your strengths. But yeah, so in that book, there's a bunch of there's a workbook that you do with it that walks you through a lot of these self awareness tests. So you have like the Myers Briggs test, your love language test, the apology language test, which was new to me. Um, what else? Your attachment style, um, your sexuality, your relationship preference, relationship style, all these different things, so that you have this profile of yourself, of your own knowing. Like you need to know what you like and know about yourself and know your worth. Just mainly knowing your worth now we're in this era of like you know your worth and now you know lonely with no prospects because you know your worth and you protecting your worth and all that stuff. But I mean it is true, like once you become very self-aware like of who you are and what you want and um you are now gonna focus on that and want to only attract what aligns with that, and so everything else looks ill, you know? Or if somebody's not exactly, you're gonna easily judge and dismiss people. Like that's the unfortunate backlash of that. But anyways, after reading that book, I got very self empowered, and in that, she definitely goes through a lot of experiments that she does because she wrote this book as a social experiment with some women that she had them go through this program that she documented, um, of them, going through all of these things that we do in the workbook in real time and discussing it, and then doing different social experiments. So they went on like different experiments to see how you attract a partner. And so I was like, I'm gonna try these social experiments on the next dates that I do. So the next date that I went on was with this guy, um, and another guy that's like somewhat my type, but he was kind of a little off, but definitely good looking. Um, Seemed to be in line with what I thought, but and I believe he was a little bit younger than me too. So me and the cougar thing is not ever gonna work out. I definitely date up in age because I just don't align with younger dudes like that. Like, and there was a reason. Like, anyways, so I did this experiment on. There's one experiment in the book where they talk about um seduction, like, and so there was a thing about like coming and being very looking very attractive in the sense of like there's different things that women do that help bring notice to certain things. Like I love doing the bat wing because it really like attracts you to my eyes so that you like look in my eyes when I'm talking. um and I've always got some type of bright lipstick on so that when when I'm talking, you look at my mouth. That's natural. So, but the other things is like making your body into a curvy shape. So, like when you're talking, to always have some type of curve and movement. There was one thing like where you stroke like your glass of wine or whatever, like to get people's mind. Like if they see that, they like it like tricks their brain into thinking about sex or something. And then I did all this stuff not knowing that this was turning me on too. But long story short, at the end of the date, we were like talking at the bar for a really long time. Then the bar starts like getting real quiet, and so we move over to there's like some couches that are kind of like on the inside outside of this like little bar thing. So we go over there, and we started talking, and that's when we started making out after this. And like we was like making out. Like this is first date. So little did I know all of the little tricks that I was using was turning me on too. Um, but we had really, really good conversation. It was really good rapport. Prior to meeting, we had really good rapport because he was totally into all of the little get to know you games. He actually brought it up. Like he taught me a couple of like or showed me a couple of like question answer games that you use to like get to know each other. And like we had a really I had a really good time getting to know this person. In the beginning. A lot of people have a lot of good answers to questions, but that haven't really practiced some things out in real life, if that makes sense. Like they have a lot of practical knowledge about what they believe they want to have, but don't practice that in real life. So but we had a couple dates. We chatted and talked for a very long time. We never hooked up. There was never the opportunity. He lived in Baltimore, and he didn't live alone. He had a roommate, um, and he lived in Baltimore. I wasn't going nowhere near Baltimore. No thanks. I have an aunt that lived in Baltimore, and that was the only time I went there. And while I was there, I don't even think I visited her up there. She came down most of the time to visit me or at my mom's house. Or not visit me specifically, but to come down to my mom's house, and that's when I saw her. So I wasn't making no trips to Baltimore, and he was okay with coming here because when he was off work, he was like, "Yeah, I want to get out of that town." But what really spoiled it, I guess, at the end for me, like this was probably date. This would have been date like 4. Like we did that, and then we like went out to eat, and then we like another time, and we like chatted in the car for a really long time, and then we met up at the park one time. So this would have been like 4 or 5th outing date thing. And so he was. So here's the thing: I made plans on my own to go to this wine tasting thing. I love doing a little cheesy thing by myself. I was gonna take the bus. I hadn't taken the bus since my childhood in Maryland. Okay, I was gonna have a whole nostalgic moment to myself. I planned the whole day. I was gonna do that, and the only reason I was gonna take the bus is because um, my brother crashed the car that I was using, so I had no longer transportation, and then also the scooter that I had, um, it was not working or something. I can't remember. So I was gonna take the bus, and I was okay with that. I was gonna take the bus, and I was gonna um, go to the wine tasting, have a good time, walk around that whole little plaza because there's a bunch of shops and stuff like that, and probably grab some food and then come back. And I was, chatting, telling him about this plan and whatever. He's like, "Oh, I would really love to join you on that. That's cool. I have a day off, um, and I would love to join you for something like that." And I'm like, first of all, I'm like, I hate when I don't really like when people invite themselves on my plan unless they're 100% know that if you don't come, if like you're not responsible and don't come, or like one, I'm still gonna go, but like if you mess up my plan, I'm gonna be more upset because you weren't invited. You invited yourself, kind of thing. So, I was feeling him. So I was like, yeah, let's go. And he was like, and I'll drive because he knew what happened. He knew about the accident or whatever. He was like, and I can come scoop you up, but it could be a whole thing. I'm like, okay, go back. So, day of, um, he would send me like a good morning text every morning. And then, um, the day of, there was no good morning text. And I'm like, and then I'm texting him, like giving him like preemptive things like, oh, okay, I'm getting ready, da da da, just checking. No response. And I'm like, oh, fuck, yo. So I start getting my stuff ready. Like, I'm going to be like, yo, I don't know what this dude is doing, but I really want to go to this. And as it's starting to get late for the thing, I'm like, I'm about to go. And then I get a call from him right as I'm like thinking about like, oh, okay, let me get my bus plan ready back now that somebody's spoiled my plan. Um, and he's like, oh, is it too late? I'm like, I mean, no, but like, are you on your way? Like, you live really far. He's like, I just got up. Like, you just got up? Like, from what? Like, he was like, yeah, I went out last night. I drank too much. And I was like, oh, Lord have mercy. You last minute irresponsibly, like, I was just like, you last minute invited yourself on my plan. Invited yourself by, um, offering a ride too that I now was counting on, in the sense of timing for my plan of getting out of the house and getting ready and shit. Um, and you irresponsibly went out, didn't set an alarm, went and got wasted to the point where you couldn't get yourself up in the morning. Like, so I was already annoyed, but I was like, he was like, no, I'm gonna come, I'm coming. And so I was like, all right. So he gets to me, he picks me up, we start heading there. And I'm feeling myself now after I done read this book and I'm knowing my worth and shit. And I'm just like, can I provide some perspective to stuff? Because he's telling me the story, trying to explain because we've had all these conversations about stuff and I've told him about the apology language and the book and all this stuff and all of these things he's aware of, right? That we've talked about that I've been intrigued about, like that he's been listening and been very, captivated and da 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 da. And we've been all in all of that for him to then come not with like the apology language thing. Like these are things we had just discussed and we were all into, like that's why I said I was really enjoying getting to know him. But it's like none of this stuff was like sinking in for him. So, um, anyways, and so I provided perspective, and that was probably the downfall of that because after that, once we got to the place that we were going to go, we walked around the wine place and got the wine tasted and realized it wasn't what I thought it was. So we were like, let's go get food. We walked over to um, Chipotle, and he was like, oh, I think I left my wallet in the car. Then he gets food. He's like, no, I don't think I did that. Um, I think he lost his wallet at some point and we started looking for it. And it was just the rest of the disaster after that. It just kind of went downhill after that. And by the time I got home, I was just like over it. And I kind of was like, I was turned off at that point. And I was getting ready to leave. Like, I was getting my new RV. I was into that mode. Like, I had a lot going on. I was trying to get back to Florida before it got too cold. I was just like, I don't have time for this shit. I tried. I'm out. So that was year 2. Year 3, let's see. No, that's year 2. Okay, so the cut to Panini happens. I'm in Florida. I'm set up. Um, and then I start talking to this girl that I met years, like almost 10 years prior at Pride. Or not, it felt like 10 years, but I don't know if it was 10 years. I mean, it could have been somewhere close to that. But, anyways, I met this girl at Pride. And at the time, she was married to this other girl. And they were all at Pride. Like, um, and then she was on social media. We followed each other on social media, and I was, I was, and at the time I didn't know, I wasn't feeling her like that. I just happened to meet her with a group of other people, um, and she fell off of social media, And then all of a sudden she popped back up. And then when she popped back up, that's when I was doing RV life. And she was like, "Oh my God, that's so cool that you're doing that. You do that full time. That's my dream. Da, da, da. You're living my dream." And then she started like communicating with me. And then I found out that, she was no longer married. Um, and she was like, feeling herself, going through, post divorce, get her groove back kind of thing. And she's a Leo. And so we just started like flirting online. Um, and it didn't really, I don't know what it really was, but it was just like we were chatting. She was um, seeking attention from me, and I was giving her attention online. And so, um, yeah, so we had made arrangements. This was, I got back to Atlanta. This was during the Panini. I want to say, I can't remember exactly. But, anyways, I went up to, I was heading through Atlanta to go to North Carolina. Or, no, it was the other way. I was headed back down from North Carolina through Atlanta because I was going to take 10 to do my cross country trip going out. So I stopped through Atlanta because I wanted to go to the Tiny House Festival. And I told her about that, and she was like, "Oh, I want to go." She was always in Atlanta. That was one of her places that she liked to go, and she always was going to Florida. So she was like, "Oh, I want to go." And so she was like, "I'll drive out, and then I can take us because I was in my RV. I didn't have a tow car at the time, so I was like, I had my scooter, but I didn't have a tow car, and so um I was like, "Yeah, come through, and then you can stay in the RV and da da da." And like, I had no expectations because at that point I kind of made up my mind that like she was too crazy for me. Like she was crazy Leo for me, or just like bombastic, Leo. And I was just like, I was cool flirting with her, but like I wasn't trying to be in a relationship or do nothing with her. Until she when she popped up. So when she came, we were on our way to the Tiny House Festival, and we were like stopped at a light, and she randomly looks over to me and she's like, "Hey, you want to have sex later?" What? She was like, "Yeah, think about it, let me know later." I was like, "Will do." And then like while we were in there, she was like, "Have you thought about it?" She was, and then when we were in there, she got her period. She was like, "Oh fuck, I got my period, shit." And so like at that time, I was just like, "Well, there goes the answer to that." Like um, you know, there goes that. So, um, but we did end up having a sexual energy exchange. She did go down on me later on that night. She definitely really wanted to have sex for sure. Like if her period wouldn't have came, like more shit would have went down. But uh, and we dry humped and stuff like that. But like she went down on me. We made out. You know, what girls do. We do a lot of things that's not whatever. Anyways, um, and that, long story short, that was the last person I had sex with, and that was in 2021. Yeah, no, 2022. That was 2022. Um, and yeah, that was a long time ago. Since then, I have been swiping and talking to people. There was a stint about 2 years ago when I was in Florida At the beginning of the year of 2022, I swiped on a good amount of people that I was chatting with. There was a girl in Mexico that I chatted with for a little bit. We video chatted. She was real cool, vanilla Latina. Um, she was a Santeria, so I learned a lot about that. um, and she had a daughter. A lot of people, a lot of the kids are not a deal breaker for me. Like not in our 40s. Come on now, people. And there was another girl who I'm still friends with. And we end up just being really cool. Because I realized that I wasn't really that attracted to her. Not because she's not a beautiful girl. Like we just don't align in the same ways as far as like when it comes to my attraction to people. Because it's not just physical. Um, and then there was two dudes. One dude who was all about the poly thing. Um, but I don't know. He was real young and confused to me. Like again, I just can't do dudes. And when I say young, like they're not even that much younger than me, but younger enough to me where their maturity level has not advanced to at least somewhere close to me. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know, but um, we had some really good conversations, but at the end of the day, like we had one whole conversation about poly, and there was like a deal breaker for him. He was like, "What if?" He was like, "So if I'm the dude and I'm taking care of shit like I'm supposed to, or whatever, whatever." He was like, does that mean all dudes are off the table?" And I'm like, I mean, not necessarily. I don't want it to be a, I don't want it to be off the table, but I don't be seeking no dudes, but I don't want it to be off the table. We're probably like that's the point. Like if I was to go to like a sex club or something, I was like, oh, he looks kind of delicious, like, and I wanted to do that. Like that can't be off the table. Like so, that one thing that I said, I guess, like turned him off, and he ghosted me again. Like he had ghosted me for a little bit, then came back, did this whole apology, this whole thing, and this whole like 2 hour conversation, like trying to come back and get to know each other or whatever. And then I guess that's the only thing I can think that we like disagreed on, and I never heard from him again. Then there was a dude that I was talking to who was on that lived on a boat. And I was like, I know somebody with a boat. That's a dumb. I was totally not like attracted to this guy, but he was like the first guy like that when like our first talking, like we video chatted, and then that was like we set the precedent for there. So after that, we only video chatted most of the time. We would like smoke and video chatting. We talked about boat stuff and RV stuff, and it was cool. Like it was really fun getting to know him, even though he wasn't my type at all. Like he was mixed. He was kind of like I won't say he was non-binary. Like I don't think he would identify like that, but like he definitely had a look that I usually wouldn't see myself with. Like he was on the bigger side. Like he had piercings, like eyebrow piercings and septic and a lot of piercings and stuff like that. Which is nothing wrong with that. I've never been attracted to that. Like that's never been anybody. Like if you looked at my profile, people that like I've been attracted to or that I've dated, like they would never even fall in the lineup. You know what I'm saying? So, but it was a social experiment for myself. I'm always doing social experiments to see if I can get to know somebody or like somebody that I would not normally be. And a lot of times that social experiment fails. So there's that. But um yeah, and that has been the last real luck of dating. It hasn't really existed. Like I haven't, I'm always on the dating apps. I'm always swiping. I very rarely get matches, and the people that like me, where it will show me like on Facebook dating, where it shows you who you like, it's usually guys that I'm just like, why is this the type of guy that's attracted to me? It's usually heavy set, short, white, older guys. And I'm just like, and they ain't got no money, so it's like it's not a sugar daddy thing that I would ever explore. But I'm just like, why is this the dudes that like me? And then just like redneck guys, if that makes sense. Like, or white collar white boys from the, the country or the desert, or like that not white collar, sorry, blue collar, work, they have like a construction job or something like that. Like, they ride motorcycles, and like I guess I look like I'm attracted to that type of person, but I'm not. I'm not. I'm not. And I don't know why. That is what always pops up when I'm able to see who likes me. Like, it's always that. Like, if somebody like super likes me on Tinder, and it will show you like that they super liked you or whatever, it's usually that guy, and I'm just like, I don't know. But that brings me to the dating profile. So let me go over the dating apps that I have on my phone. So, in alphabetical order, as they show up on my phone. Okay. I used to have BLK on here. I took that off because there was way too many white people on there and other people that were not black, and a lot of bots. So I got rid of it. But so I have Bumble. That's been a go to for the longest. I like that there's different toggles for that. And then I just like the features of that. So we'll go on Bumble first, and I'll read you my dating profile. I kind of copy and pasted a lot of the bio stuff. Um, later. Will you let me in my profile, please? It's got me logged out. I hate when it's like, oh, you gotta update stuff, and then my signal's not good. Come on, don't fuck with me now right now. Anyways, we'll go back. Oh, here we go. Profile. So view profile, and I'll show this. I'll put this on the screen. Um, hold on. Why can I see? But I don't want to edit it. I want to view it. Okay, here we go. Queen Tasha 41. In the My Bio section, it says, this section is always silly to fill out because you're going to judge me first on my photos. Just saying. But, anyways, I'm a hippie nomad stoner, full time RVer by choice, pescatarian, sapiosexual, looking for a travel partner to explore the world before the aliens come. And then, 5'4", active, Leo, in the About Me section. Drink sometimes, smoke sometimes, woman, looking for, or I don't know if that means I'm a woman or if I'm looking for a woman, but wants kids, spiritual, long term relationship. And then it says, the quickest way to my heart is hot crab legs regularly. And it says, if you could have a superpower, it'd be flying. Should expand on that. If you could travel to any time in the past, I say the 20s for the fashion, but not the racism. All of these pictures, I mean, they still look like me. But they're not up to date. I should take these out. There's some good pictures. I have some new pictures that are nice. So that's Bumble. I like Bumble because when you go to people's profile, um, there's some interesting like prompts, and it's scrollable. All right, the next one. Let's see in alphabetical order. I just put Feld or Field on here. That's the one for like polyamory and stuff. I just found out about this one. I think, and I had been on it before, and then I got rid of it. I didn't know that I had been on it before, and then I got rid of it. Why is all of these things got me logged out when I'm trying to be on a podcast and signal's not good? Oh my gosh, this podcast is gonna take so long to upload. Oh man, it's gonna be so long. But I have failed. I'll go back to that one. And then I have her, which is a lesbian one, or yeah, lesbian one. I have OK Cupid. I've been on that one for years. Um, I think I met one of those guys off of that one. And then obviously, let's see, where else? Is there another one? I thought there was one more before Tinder. Okay, and then Tinder. Tinder has never really been successful at all, but I'm constantly on Tinder. Like I don't know why I even go on there, to be honest. Um, and then and then Facebook dating. Speaking of Facebook dating, let's go to Facebook dating profile. It is set right now to just women. Let me go to my profile and see what it says. The signal out here is so awful. Dating profile. Okay. So describe yourself. Natural born hustler, adventurer of life, calculated risk taker, lioness, lover, and giver, vibration emitter. You can call me Queen Tasha. Disclaimer: I'm a hippie, spiritual, but not religious nomad stoner, full time RVer, save the planet earther, mostly pescatarian, sapiosexual and poly. For those that want to label me, mainly a queen. If these are deal breakers for you, I totally understand. Searching for a partner who wants to travel the world with me. Um, and then it just has like all of my tags. I like the ones that tell people that specify like the smoking, like whether it's smoking cigarettes or if it's smoking weed. Like I prefer because I always say no to smoking because I don't smoke cigarettes, but I do smoke weed. So that's good. That's very important to know because I really don't even swipe on anybody that doesn't smoke weed. We'll get into that later. Um, Let me go to my Tinder profile. Let's see. Tinder profile view. Okay. About me section. Here for a good time, not a long time. In Southwest for the winter. I'm not looking for hookups. That's what I'm supposed to say, right? Laugh my ass off. I'm a hippie nomad stoner. See, this is like copy and paste. Full time RVer by choice. Spiritual, not religious. Love is my religion. Save the planet Earther. Zero waste, low waste. World traveler. Pescatarian. Snow crab legs are my weakness. Sapiosexual, bisexual. Seduce my mind. Poly. Ethically non monogamous, but mainly a queen. Let's go on an adventure. um, yeah, I like Tinder because it has the breakdown of like, are you a smoker? I put non-smoker, but is it canvas? Yes. Then you got your pets. This got your dietary preferences. Some people will not fuck with you if you're not vegan. If they're vegan, it's important. Y'all should eat the same things, roughly, because it makes cooking fun. I like that this one says COVID vaccinated because some people do. That's a deal breaker for me. I do not want nobody that's vaccinated. I need your blood to be pure. Probably shouldn't even say that. Actually, I'm gonna cut that. They'll flag that 57 minutes in. Oh, you're gonna have to cut your monetization. You said something bad. Anyways, um, and then I was gonna go to the OK Cupid one. Hold on. OK Cupid. What do we got on here? The Match Group. The Match Group owns like a bunch of these. They own the BLK one. They own so many ones, but I have yet to be successful in any of them. And when I say successful, I mean something that okay, I guess a situationship is successful. I did have a short term um connection with somebody, um, which does count as success. You know, we ended up being friends later. We're still cool. Like we're not like chatty cool, but like we follow each other's stuff. She's a recording artist now, so like we still chat. She was on my podcast once, on my stoner podcast. I was giving anybody a clue. uh, but yeah, so profile. This one still says I'm in Vegas. Oops. That's how much I haven't been on this one. I like this one. Breaks down the details. It says woman, bisexual, top, versatile, femme, non-monogamous, single, and then black and like the other. Excuse me. Um, things that I might be. Okay, so my about me for OkCupid is natural born hustler, adventure of life. Okay, this is the same one as the last one. Calculated risk taker, lioness, lover, and giver, vibration emitter. You can call me Queen Tasha. Searching for travel partner who wants to travel the world with me and have sex in every country. That's the tagline that's different at the bottom of this. Aspirations. What am I doing with my life? Enjoying every minute. YOLO. Talent. I'm really good at pretty much everything. Haha. If I could eat, oh, if you could only eat one food for the rest of the time, it would be unlimited supply of hot crab legs and hot butter. How to take over the world? Or wait, hobbies. I spend a lot of time thinking about how to take over the world. Haha. If you don't know that cartoon, what cartoon that quote is from, don't message me. Moments, a perfect day, sunshine and the beach. Dating, you should message me if you want to vibe on a higher spiritual plane. My traits, my style can be described as are you goth? Oh wait, it's I haven't written anything for those. Okay, I was like, wait. Okay. So yeah, I need to update that one because I'm not in Vegas anymore. I don't know why it doesn't just update itself. But anyways. So yeah, those are my dating profiles. Next I will move into my dating preference. Some of these, like most of these actually, these dating apps, like if you want to help it with its curation, it makes you pay more money to have a more detailed preference list. Like with Bumble, you can get basic filters like who I want to date, how old they are, how far away they are, and that's it. If you want to get advanced, you have to unlock premium stuff like height, with their family plans, kids, religion, all the other stuff. Do they smoke? All that shit. If you want to narrow it down, but I'm gonna give you my dating profile preferences. So, um, let's do women first because that's who's more important. Like I said, I am attracted to femme presenting women. And when I say women, I mean womb men, or women who were born um, with the vagina. I don't know how to say it any more politically correct, but cause there's so much that goes around like pronouns and identity and what identity looks like that um, I think that the conversations are important. I just don't think that they're done yet. um, I think they kind of made a finale on things without consulting everybody. But um, yeah, so we'll start with that. So, femme presenting women who were born women. Um, I don't care if you're bi or lesbian as long as you don't care that I'm bi and that I'm poly. Um, must be poly and or poly friendly, preferably poly. Um, as far as the avatar, I like women who look like me, brown skin, natural hair, locks would be nice, or knows how to do locks so that we could do each other's hair. Oops, I'm getting within away from the mic. Um, what else? Uh, in shape, slender, around the same height as me. I'm 5'4.5", so not too much taller than me. I think like 5'7" is like my max on height. Top, and then 5 foot is my short max. Um, and then let's see what else with the avatar. Um, but I also like vanilla Latina. Like I said, um, I do like other too, like like but I prefer people who are brown. Brown or melanated. Let's say melanated. Um, but I do like vanilla Latina, which I do consider like melanated. And let's see. I think that's all when it comes to like Avatar. When it comes to, I mean, body wise, like I just said, like slim. Like, I mean, I have little titties and a big booty, or a nice juicy booty. I won't say big booty, a juicy booty. Um, I'm down for either. Like, I like tits. I like booty. I prefer not a flat booty, but you know what I'm saying. Like, it is what it is. Like, as long as I'm attracted to them. Like, some, I'm not worried about like the proportions and such. Um, that doesn't matter to me. And then intellectually or lifestyle wise, I don't care if you have kids. If you do have kids, I prefer. I mean, if I had to have a preference, older kids. It's like, um, and if they are younger, that you're down to travel, with them, and then, um, be okay with having another kid because I want to have a kid. Anyways, they're okay to have kids. Lifestyle wise, not religious, not political in the sense of preaching politics to me or wanting me to care about politics. If you're passionate about politics because you're an abolitionist or you're anarchist and you want to, you know, you're aware of the system and you really want to be a part of when it's dismantled, it's re-rise and shit like that. Like I'm totally down for anybody, and I support that. Just don't expect me to have the same passions as you because even being non-political, somebody shared with me is political, but um, in a different way. Like I just don't participate in the matrix, and I prefer people who don't. But if you do, it's for the cause of um, revolutionary change and or um, a different type of governing system in general. But anyways, not religious, doesn't affiliate with any particular one religious group, or practice one religious practice like this. Like that's off the table for me. I think it's very important for people to be on the same page about that when it comes to their intimate partners. Um, Only because you share a lot of thought and space that you don't share with your friends necessarily or your family and things like that. So it's like you can have I can have plenty of differences of political and religious friends and family, but when it comes to my intimate partners, I have to be on the same page. So I am not religious, especially not Christianity. Like anybody who's into that, like that's definitely not for me. So, um, yeah. And then what else? Has to smoke. It can't just be like, oh, I'm okay. I'm okay with you if you smoke. Like 420 friendly can mean two different things. 420 friendly is like, oh, I don't care if you smoke, and then 420 friendly can mean like, yeah, we all smoke. I need it to be the second one, um, because I smoke regularly. I don't want to be in a space, an intimate space with anybody that um can't feel comfortable in their space, and I can't feel comfortable in my space because I'll I won't accommodate anybody, especially not in my space. Like if you come in my space, know that I smoke in my space. So if you don't want to be around smoke, don't come in my space. It's as simple as that. Um, and then um, drinking, I don't mind if you don't drink at all. Like we don't got to toast. I have wine here and there, but not like all the time. And I have some drinks out on vacation kind of thing, but it's not like a regular part of like that, and it's not a requirement. I had to pause real quick. My dog came up. Was like, "Hey, are you done with your podcast?" I'm like, "Not yet, baby girl. I'm coming." Um, where was I though? So yeah. Um, I let's see. Drinking not a deal breaker. Polyamorous, yes. I say poly friendly, and what I mean by that is somebody who hasn't explored it but is interested in it. Like hasn't really been able to, go, but they feel like that's who they are becoming and who they are and who they want to explore with. I'm definitely okay with that. Um, but I don't really do newbie bisexuals or like lesbians. But newbie poly, yes, I can work with it as long as you have already committed to the open mindedness of to your for yourself, not because you want to explore it because you like me. I've done that little thing and I'm not interested in that. Like, oh yeah, I'll explore it with you. I'm like, nah, I need you to already want to do that because you want that for yourself, not because you want it because you like me. Um, but yeah, so there's that. Um, and what else? I would say healing because some people say come healed, and I'm like, what does that even look like? I feel like we're always healing from something. Trauma is constantly happening around us. um, we're being microly traumatized by our government. Anyways, but yeah, so and these traits that I'm talking about as far as lifestyle and personality apply to both male and female. Um, but when it comes to female, let's say like I do like women who, like I said, are femme, but like that are more on the submissive side. And I like that word, but I don't like that word because I don't want you to be coming like I'm gonna take care of you, but that you like to be taken care of. If that makes sense. Like I like to be the romantic one. I like to be the dominant one when it comes to being with a girl. So, um, I think the dynamic when it comes to two femdoms, I don't know. Like I've haven't really gone down that road too much. I would say that the girl from Atlanta, the Puerto Rican girl, she's definitely femdom. So I mean, I think it's definitely workable. But um it's definitely easier when one person likes one dynamic versus the other, if that makes sense. I don't know. And then and this is why I'm not really attracted to studs. Not just because I'm not attracted to masculine presenting women, because there are some where I'm like, okay, okay, okay. And that I think is because their face still presents very feminine, even if they are clothing their avatar with um, different things that make them look more masculine. Um, but yeah, and then let's just go to the guys as far as like my preference. Um, Early on, and still, I like that pretty boy athletic type, like the football player, with the juicy, ripped body and the clean cut kind of thing. Like I've always been attracted to that, but like that's no longer my type in the sense of that personality. And I don't think that personality was ever my type. I was attracted to that avatar before I realized that avatar is not the type of person I like being around. Um, but now I really I like locked guys that have locks, long locks, short locks, but just like rock like a natural lock hairstyle. Um, and I mean, I still like somebody who's in shape. Um, but it doesn't have to be necessarily like ripped body. But that's what I do like. I do like taller than me. I'm 5'4.5". Like, and when I say tall, I would say starting at 5'7", 5'8", and that's not tall. So like 5'8" ish, yeah. Like my ex was like 5'9", 5'10". So, and I've dated taller than that. All my brothers in my family are 6 foot tall. So, I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but um, yeah, I like taller when it comes to guys. As far as ethnic, I prefer black guys. Afro Latino too, but black, dark skin, the black of the berry, the black of the black of the berry, the better I get juicy. No, but I really have always just been into black guys. Like I lost my virginity to a black guy. I've always dated a black guy. I was attracted to, I was an equal opportunist back in, my early, years of dating, because I was pre um, procreation phase for me. But now that I'm in a procreation, I'm definitely pro black. I want to have a chocolate baby like me, with a chocolate person. So, um, yeah. But I'm definitely open to other ethnic backgrounds that are melanated. Just, I definitely don't. I'm sorry, guys, but I don't do white boys. And the white boys that are attracted to me, like I'm so sorry, guys. I'm just so sorry. I'm not attracted to y'all. Y'all are cool people, cool homies for life for sure. Like always cool people, always down. But I'm just not attracted to you guys in that way. sorry. And it's unfortunate because that's who I attract mostly. Like, and I would love to be nice to y'all in that way, but it's just not gonna happen. Oh, I just bumped my head. Somebody was coming to my door, and I had to go check. And anyways, but yeah, so I've always had this one particular prototype of white boy that likes me, and I'm not really sure what to do about that. But I did give white boys a try at one point during my sugar daddy phase. I definitely did, but that didn't last long. I don't really. It's very difficult for me to have that type of dynamic with somebody who I'm not really attracted to, because then it's not really mutually beneficial for me. I don't know. I learned that later on. At the beginning, I didn't care because like they were throwing money, but that's how it ended up. But yeah, so that's really what dating and sex life and has looked like for me for the last 7 years. But and what I'm attracted to and the dating apps that I've been on, I swipe constantly. Um, and when I say constantly, I mean I definitely have cycles, but everywhere that I, travel, I always update the profile where I'm at, and I swipe on there, see if anybody wants to meet. I rarely swipe right on people. Constantly left, 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 left. And the few people that I swipe right, I really do think about it. I read the profile. I am somebody who reads the whole profile. If you ain't got nothing on your profile, I'm not swiping on there. I don't care how cute you look. If you don't say nothing, I'm most likely not gonna swipe. Um, and the people that I swipe on, it's for something intriguing. Whether it's not just them looking good, like there was something on their profile that was like, oh, I want to know more. And so when I do swipe right on people, which women and men, um, I would say my match success would be, let's say, like for every 10 people that I swipe on. No, let's say for every 50 people that I swipe on, I get one. Um, Let me back that up. Every 100 people that I swipe on, whether it's left or right, there's probably about 10 people that I like going to the right. And out of those 10, maybe one, so 1 in 100, that where I'll get a match. And then from that match, where we'll actually have a correspondence, which is rare, that's, you know, 40%, where I'll actually have a conversation after we like each other, which is very rare. And then if there is a rapport, um, where it is a rapport that's interesting, that goes anywhere, um, that's usually from, if we do like I've had 60% success of like having a really good rapport with somebody. And then I would say if I had to put a percentage on those good rapports turning into a let's meet up or let's have a phone conversation or let's have a video conversation, is like 40%. And then from that 40% of people that we actually do that, of us actually meeting up for a first date, is like 20%. And then, and I haven't had a 20% in a minute. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's been a minute, like, since I've had a rapport turn into a first date. a meetup where I'm actually going and meeting with somebody. Like that has been that hasn't happened in I don't even know when's the last time that happened. But I have way more of the good rapports that we potentially think about meeting up, and then it goes nowhere. It goes to ghost, or there's no meetup. So I say all of this to say in my podcast about my struggles of dating is that dating doesn't exist, hasn't existed for me. Um, I could say honestly at the beginning that it wasn't crucially important to me at the beginning. The first 3 years or so, like I was on my own adventure, especially during the panini when I was on my road trip and I was doing my thing. Like I was having a good ass time. Like yeah, I wanted to meet up with people and I did. Um, oh yeah, I did meet up with somebody who I didn't date, but like I swiped. I think it was Bumble friends too, honestly. Um, in Vegas, who I'm still friends with. That was in 2020, but like people to actually talk to and date, um, that yeah, that has not happened on this trip. Um, there have been people that I did meet up with that um like of the few people that I did have like success where I did have like a first date with people that I can remember. Like there was one girl in Florida, and it we just didn't. It was like it was awkward, and it like who she was for me, who I imagined her to be, the story I told myself about her based on, her profile and her avatar and her look. She was beautiful, black, brown skinned girl with locks, but we just did not align. And I was infatuated with the idea of being with her, but I was realistic about not doing and pursuing that because it was not um aligned for me. And yeah, I don't know. There's been people that are just like not about like the whole nomad thing, and then some people that are like I'm right now I'm in the right place to swipe on nomads. I'm in Southwest Arizona, um Quartzsite area. I swiped on a lot of nomads, and but it's like it's not people that I would be attracted to necessarily, but I'm attracted to them in the sense of like I would like to get to know them just because they're a nomad. Because I want to know other nomads, that are queer and that are um traveling and looking for partnership and stuff like that. But it may not be somebody that I'm attracted to. I just swiped on somebody in Phoenix and we were chatting and we never met up, but like they just started doing van life and um, they had this really interesting look about them and I was like, oh, they look fun. I would love to get to know them, but I wasn't really attracted to them in that regard. But I entertained it because I would like to meet a nomad ultimately. Now that I've been doing this, it's not that I haven't had people that are intrigued by my lifestyle. That would be like that wouldn't. A lot of people haven't. Most people have not invited themselves on the journey, like being like, oh, like that's really cool that you're doing that. I would love to come with you kind of attitude. You know what I'm saying? They've got a life set up. They got their sticks and bricks. They've got their um location dependent job, so it's like they're not going nowhere, but they would entertain hanging out with me while I'm here. And because I'm a slow man, I'm like, oh, how long are you going to be here? I'm going to be here for the next couple of months. Oh, okay, cool. Well, let's hang out. Like that's okay for them. Like that's settling them. But like as far as like going with me on the journey or even meeting up with me on the journey is not something that they mention or entertain. And then, with nomads, we're all on our own journey. So it's just like trying to find people who's matching where you trying to be or where you trying to go is a whole nother thing as well. And it's it's just nomad dating as a full time nomad has just not really existed. I don't know what it would look like. It could look like so many different things. I don't know how people are doing it and they're not poly because I think poly makes it more um reasonable to do, where you can have different connections with people that live in different places. I've never really felt good about doing long distance dating because I'm a quality time person. I like people to be near me or whatever. But in this lifestyle, I've definitely been open minded and to entertaining that thought with somebody if I made a connection with somebody somewhere and they weren't interested in like joining my lifestyle, but they were like, no, I'll definitely come and fly out and meet you, or I want to do it part time and then I can have my spot. Like I haven't had that, but I would entertain that. You know what I'm saying? I just haven't had that opportunity. Um, I would be open with somebody coming with me, but I guess ideally now, and I had this conversation at Van Life Pride, like, what would a dynamic ultimately be like for you? And like, I asked people, I was like, would you rather have somebody have their own rig and caravan with you, or would you want to have somebody share a rig with you, and y'all either get a rig together or one of y'all move into each other's rig? And most people, and when I say most of the people were in their probably 30s into and over into the 60s and 70s, were like, I would rather just caravan. Let's everybody have their own rig. We already settled in our shit. We got our shit set up. Like we're used to doing it by ourselves and having our own space. Like let's just caravan. And I'm totally down for that. Like at this point now, but at the same time, I would love to be a passenger princess. Like have somebody drive my rig, um, so I can sit, or have somebody sit while I drive, so I have somebody to talk to and do stuff and grab stuff when stuff falls, and sit with my dogs and shit like that while we're traveling. Like that would be nice too. So I'm down for either one. Um, but I'm just it's just been very hard to catch a catch on these regular dating sites, which is why I'm going to segue into promoting this idea that I have, that I've been trying to get going, um, for a dating app for BIPOC nomads. Um, Specifically Nomads on Wheels, but it will, obviously expand as, my interests and my lifestyle changes. Let's hope I'm not still single going into boat life, but you never know. Uh, but yeah, so I came up with this idea to create a dating app, using, a user face that creates, um, dating apps. I'm very tech savvy. I could build something from scratch if I really wanted to take the time to do it, but I prefer to use platforms and things that are already set up to make it easy so that you can get started and then you can change it and transform it over time. Um, and so there is that platform that I want to use to build up a dating app for BIPOC nomads on wheels. And so that we can find each other, not so we're not sifting through everybody else who does regular life, and the app is custom to us. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's your dating style? What is this? What is that? What is this? Like when it's custom specifically to nomadic um lifestyle. I think our dating is very unique and we need to have things that are customized to that. um and so the app that I named it Roam Together. And so it's, it could be anything, any type of partnership to be able to, travel and connect, with nomads on the road. So I've been wanting to put this together. I'm happily to take the lead on developing it, but I don't have the bread to do it. It costs a lot of money to just do a simple app, because you need to set up business around it, and then official business around it, and then doing the app itself and running it, through the platform is not super expensive, but then getting it up on the app stores and stuff like that, that's another expense. So, I do have a GoFundMe on my link tree. You can find for it, and you can also go to my website, queentasha'sempire.com, and go to the Empire tab, and you'll scroll down and see Roam Together app, and you can click on that to sign up for the beta testing, or you can sign. There's the link there to go to the GoFundMe if you want to donate to get that app going. Like, I just feel like this would be like bomb for all of us. And I say BIPOC just because um, there's not. It's really even more difficult to find people who look like us who are solo, and I run into so many. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, um, and there are different communities and or dating apps in a sense. Not really dating apps, but like dating communities, um, and platforms for white people who are nomads on wheels and things like that. Like, there are those spaces for them, and we don't show up in those spaces. So we need our own space. That's what it is. Like, because we are not the majority, or we're not even shown in any advertising or anything like that, that we might be there in those spaces. Um or that we're welcome in those spaces. Not that we're not welcome in those spaces, that they don't show representation for us to feel welcome in those spaces. And because of that, we don't show up in those spaces, but we still need those spaces. So we need to have them and create them for ourselves. And that's what I want to do, and that's what I'm always for. That's what the Black Travel Tribe was for. That's what this is for. That's where my visions and passions and projects and things, entrepreneurship goals, always go to supporting the people, supporting myself, and supporting the people that look like me. Um, and so yeah, I am wanting to do that for us. So if you're interested in that, please check the link below in the description to help out with that. But yeah, I think that's pretty much. I mean, I pretty much gave you the wrap up. What's been going on? It's pretty dry over here, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? It's real dry because yo, like, even I haven't even been motivated to date myself, which is bad. Like, I really have to like treat myself better. Take myself on a date. I remember when I was in my mid 20s or mid early 20s after my first breakup with my college sweetheart. I did that. I had that whole phase where I dated myself and I took myself to the movies. I had never done any of that stuff by myself. Like, never. I would never. And I went through a whole phase where I was doing that. I went out to eat by myself. Tested out all these different things by myself that I had never done, and I felt insecure to do by myself. And then I was back in a relationship after that, like after that hiatus, and I worked on a cruise ship and had fun, and had a whole phase and everything again, um, and then I was in a relationship again, which and um, then after that, I had another whole phase, and then a sugar daddy phase, and I'm trying to think. And then I just been trying to date since then. And I haven't really been trying to date myself. Now, that's not to say that I don't take myself and do stuff by myself. I just haven't been motivated to really do that. And that's not good. I really would prefer to, because when you do that, then you attract what you want. And so I need to get better at doing that. For real. So, but yeah, it's been real dry over here. I'm single and ready to mingle. I'm bi, and I'm looking for a femme chick who likes to go, who wants to live in an RV or live on the road and not in this country. Oh, that's another thing that's a deal breaker. Uh, Actually, before I go, I do want to go to my website because on my website I have frequently asked questions, and in that frequently asked questions, um, um, to the bottom, it does talk about that. So let's see. It says, "Are you single?" Yes. So this is what the answer is to that. And you can see this in my frequently asked questions on my website. Just scroll down to the bottom to find the frequently asked questions. Are you single? Yes. Happily single, but ready to mingle. I'm polyamorous, bisexual, and sapiosexual. Recipe to love me. Quality time is my primary love language. So spending time with me, doing the most, and doing nothing is how I feel most loved. I love to cook, so be prepared to eat, as long as you're willing to clean up and do the dishes afterward. This is very important to me. Getting to the next level with me requires deep and long conversations. Open communication is a huge part of how I feel secure and safe and feeds my sapiosexual side. I am a giver and people pleaser, so allowing me to be dominant and tend to your needs is important to form connections and bonds. To keep it simple, make me laugh, eat snacks with me while we travel the world smoking weed, and I will love you forever. The end. Um. So yeah, that's that's what I'm. That's what I. That's what's been going on in my bed or not. For the last almost 7 years of RV life. A lot of nothing. A lot of nothing. And a lot of that comes from knowing my worth. A lot of that comes from being selective. A lot of that comes from not making connections. And maybe just it not being aligned timing. Because when it's right, it will be right. And it will come. But I think I'm done chatting for now about my non-existent dating and love life. It's kind of making me sad a little bit. But I am getting hungry and I would like to eat some food. And my dog's all ready for some attention again. So I'm going to end the podcast here. But let me see. Let me just check to make sure I got everything that I wanted to talk about. Yep, that's all that I wanted to talk about. I kept it real. Real talk, real life, no filter. But that's all for me. I hope you enjoyed hearing my sad story of love and dating and the struggles of being a full-time nomad and dating on the road. But that's all for me. Thank you for listening. Stay tuned to the next podcast. Peace and blessings.